Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Workin' Women Wednesday. Excuse my voice, the turn up was a little too real for Memorial Day, so I'm on struggle mode right now, but bear with me. So as you know, or maybe if this is your first time tuning in, Workin' Women Wednesday is a series that I've started that provides information on how to elevate yourself professionally. And the information that I'm giving is really based on my experience as an attorney, as an entrepreneur, and as a former athlete. So today's edition of Workin' Women Wednesday is about the importance of self-promoting, and why you should be doing it, and how to do it so that you don't come off, hey guys, so that you don't come off as being a jerk or a braggart. So first, why is self-promotion important? And I guess first, even before that, what is self-promotion? So self-promotion is really just letting people know what you're doing and doing it in a way so that people aren't offended, right? So sometimes we all know the person who's always telling us what we're doing, what they're doing. Some of it's not important, some of it is important. It gets to be really annoying. Hey guys, hey everyone. We don't want to be that person. So we want to practice the art of self-promoting, which is letting people know what we're doing, letting our managers, our coworkers, our clients know what we're doing in a way that actually brings us some benefit. So why is it important? So one of the reasons it's important is because if you're not talking about yourself, other people probably aren't going to be doing it either, right? I remember when I first started working and I was working my little tail off. I was writing opinions and I was, hosting hearings. And I asked my manager after about a year or so for a raise. And she politely looked at me and she said, well, why do you deserve a raise? And I was like, what you mean? I've been working my butt off. Of course I deserve a promotion, a raise. Well, what I failed to realize is that while I'm trucking along doing all this great work, I wasn't sharing it with her. And her as my manager, I'm not the only person that she manages. She manages a bunch of other attorneys, right? So while I was completing the work, she's also, focused on what other attorneys are doing in the office. So if you don't promote yourself, your managers, your clients, they're probably going to lose sight of what great work you're doing, and they're going to be less inclined to hire you for things. They'll be less inclined to give you more money. And the second reason why it's really important for you to practice self-promotion is that it'll help you extend your network, right? So people like to be around people that they think are successful and they think are going places. The only way for people to know that you're one of those people is to tell them that you're one of those people. And the more you're showing people what great work you do, why it's great to be aligned with them, the more you grow your network. And we've already talked about the importance of developing your network. So telling other people about the great work that you're doing, it extends your network and it gets you more paper. And at the end of the day, nobody out here wants to be working for free or for little or no recognition. So the important thing that we need to talk about now is how to self-promote without coming off as a jerk. That's really important because, hey guys, thanks for joining. Thanks. That's really important because it's a fine line between letting people know that you're doing great work and you're somebody that they want to align with, and offending people and getting on people's nerves. So the first thing that I would suggest doing is only mentioning what's really important. There's a lot of minuscule, mundane tasks that we all do day to day as a part of our job. Your clients, they don't need to know that because they're busy. Your manager, like I said before, is managing a bunch of different people. They don't need to know that you sent an email to your client saying XYZ. They don't need to know that. What I tell my manager in order to let them know when I'm doing something outstanding is I tell them when I win something, right? So they know that I'm working on a project, but I don't give them the little unnecessary updates until I win the case. Then you write the nice email, you let them know, the outcome, and then like, boom, like she's working hard. The second thing that you want to do outside of just mentioning what's important is you want to mention the accomplishments while also mentioning how that accomplishment helps your client or how that accomplishment helps the team. Because you don't want people to think that the work that you're doing is just self-fulfilling, right? You want them to be able to easily draw the connection between the stuff that you're doing, your accomplishments, and the greater purpose of the team. So, if you tell a client of yours that, hey, I got you booked for this TV show, then you also tell them that, this TV show, we get you on this TV show, that's going to help you get your book deal down the line, right? So help make the connection to them. Help people see that the work that you're doing is good for them, is good for you, but it's also good for them. The third thing you should do, especially if you're not sharing information with managers, especially if you're sharing it with coworkers, is to ask people how they're doing. Ask people what they're working on. So people are more inclined to listen to what you have to say and be more inclined to support you if they feel like you're not just doing it, like you're not just telling them this information because it's all about you. So before you even get to talking to people about what you're doing, ask what they're working on. Hey mom, my mom just joined y'all. The fourth thing you want to do is that you want to consistently let people know what you're doing. So one of my issues when I went for the raise all those years ago is that after she said, well, what are you doing? Then I had to go back and remember all the stuff that I did, right? I had to remember all the stuff I did, and I just sort of bombarded her with all this information. Well, if I had throughout the year let her know that I was doing XYZ, I had accomplished this, then one, it lets her know on a consistent basis that I'm working, right? And she is not surprised, and she doesn't have to contemplate why I'm actually asking for a raise, because she's always seeing the work that I'm putting in, and she knows that I'm winning cases, and she knows that I'm, pacifying clients so she doesn't have to. So let people know consistently. Letting people know what you're doing consistently, it also shows that you're passionate, right? That you're dedicated to doing this work, and that, they can trust you because you've been telling them all year long that you're doing the hard work. The sixth thing that you want to do is that you want to be targeted, right? Everybody doesn't need the same information. Again, if you're talking to your coworker who might someday become a supervisor, so you should be sharing with your coworkers, but if you're talking to them, you're going to deliver the message a little differently than if you're giving your boss your quarterly update about all of your great things that you've been working on. With your manager, you can be direct, you can outline it. With your coworker, maybe, you don't have to be so direct and give them, 15 bullet points about what you've done over the year. Make it more conversational like we talked about earlier. And finally, and this is the thing that a lot of people forget, is that you need to get mentors and sponsors. I'm going to do a whole nother Working Women Wednesday edition of what the difference between a mentor and a sponsor is and why you need them. But for right now, you need to know that you need to get a sponsor. Your sponsors are people who are at higher levels, who maybe can bring you up, who can get you those promotions. Those are the people that can move into spaces that you can't always go into, right? And so you need those types of people to know the good work that you're doing so that they can tell other people for you, because you're just one person, right? So develop your network that consists of mentors and sponsors and people that are willing to go to bat for you when there's times when you actually aren't around or you can't speak up for yourself. So that's it. Mention only what's important. Mention your accomplishments while building the connection between why what you're doing is good for everybody. Ask others what they're working on. Be consistent and passionate with telling people what you're doing. Constantly get feedback. Be targeted and get your mentors and your sponsors. if you do that, and if you do the other tips that I've shared on Working Women Wednesday, I promise you're going to be successful. And as a matter of fact, you can put these tips into practice at the Gladiators Women in Sports Mixer. That's going to be held July 12th, 2018 from 5 to 8 p.m. at We Work right here in the city of Atlanta. As usual, I'm going to put the link to this and the video on Facebook. It's going to be in my highlights. It's going to be on the blog. So you have no reason not to be able to watch the whole video. You have no reason not to be able to share with your friends and family. So do me a solid and do all of that. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any great ideas for what I could do for another Working Women Wednesday, another edition. See you guys later. Thank you.